What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So today I thought I would make a little bit of a fun video and talk about Levi Markwardt, who is one of the most well-known American kettlebell lifters, especially on social media, and talk about whether he's natty or not, because he's definitely one of the guys that gets a lot of steroid accusations regularly, and I'm just going to give my opinion on whether I believe he's natural, and used it as an opportunity to talk about PEDs in the sport in general. So first off, in terms of PEDs, you can't really say, rarely can you say with certainty whether someone is using like steroids or not. And when I talk about PEDs, we could get into a philosophical discussion. What is a PED? Because technically caffeine is a PED. I'm talking about like the real stuff like steroids, like anabolic steroids, oral or injectable. And I'm also including TRT in that. I'm talking about stuff like growth hormone. I'm talking about stuff like pro hormones. I'm talking about, on the endurance side, stuff like EPO, so like real stuff that actually moves the needle. Okay, I'm not talking about whether somebody is smoking weed, because technically THC is a controlled substance according to WADA. So with that out of the way, most of the time you can't say with certainty one way or another, because I know people who I know for a fact they are using anabolic steroids, but their performance is still like piss poor. Like I know people, and often you can tell, like they have the look, they have the muscle mass, but like I know one guy, he would struggle to jerk double 24s for 20 reps, struggle with 225 bench press with a 315 deadlift. So like, just from the performance side, you would never assume they're using steroids. And on the other hand, you have people who are like super strong and really high performance, and everybody says, oh, they are on steroids for sure, but I don't actually believe they are. And I think that's one thing the recent enhanced games showed, is that there are many factors that go into performance. And like the number one for sure is genetics, and steroids or PEDs, they can give you an edge, but you need the raw material. And we saw that at the enhanced games where the athletes were using steroids, and they couldn't even, for example, in the 100-meter sprint, they couldn't even break American high school records. So like that already tells you it's not a magic pill. But still, steroid abuse in athletics and in the coaching business, in the fitness industry, is rampant. And I think it needs to be called out, because the number one thing steroids do is they add muscle mass and they make you look bigger, right? And that's the number one selling point for fitness tools, coaching services, etc., etc. So if you're using like PEDs, if you're using steroids and selling coaching or selling some fitness tool or selling some supplement, you are actually like engaging in my opinion, unethical behavior. So that's why I think it's important to have standards. And obviously, even though the performance aspect may not always like move the needle and turn someone from a low performer to a high performer, like it's still unfair if you actually compete in any events against natural athletes. So that out of the way, let's look at Levi. Let's look at one video of his training, and just to get a first impression, right? So that's like right away we see where the accusations come from, because he just looks like the fucking Terminator and he's lifting like ungodly weights. He has like his own kind of like peculiar training system where he like kind of combines aspects of kettlebell sport with like more like traditional GPP training methods. And right away we can see he's quite muscular, he's very lean, and he also has like good density in his muscles and like pretty good vascularity. And those are like some of the things we're going to look at, because that's like one of the telltale signs of steroids is definitely like a certain fullness and pop in the muscles that you can see. And I think that's where a lot of the accusations come from, combined with the fact that he's just lifting obscene amounts of weight. So here we see him snatching double 30 kg kettlebells. And let's start with the like strength side. So from the performance side, obviously he is very, very strong. But I believe he also has, and we're going to talk about it, he also has a lifetime of training, and he also has very good genetics. So I don't think just from the performance side we could make that accusation. Like we have to give him the benefit of the doubt here, because okay, I'm much smaller than him, but I could do the same thing, for example, with 32s. I think that would be a fair way to scale, and that's why I say for a man of his size, it doesn't look like impossible to me. So jerking double 40s, of course it's heavy, or snatching double 40s, yes, it's heavy, it's impressive strength, but it's not something where I say, okay, 100% he's using steroids. And let's look at his physique some more. Okay, so here we can see, like, usually in steroid users, like I said, we see the density of the muscles, like the fullness, and combined with the vascularity, because usually when you get lean, you kind of lose that fullness of the muscles, and when you get bigger, you kind of lose like the pop of the veins and that vascularity. And in steroid users, we often see both. So just from a like social media standpoint, when we just look at the pictures and say first impressions, yes, we can see like looks a little bit suspicious, but it's social media. And I can say from personal experience that just because someone looks like massive on social media, like there is a lot of stuff going on in regards to like body fat, in regards to like having a pump, and in regards to good lighting. And I know that from personal experience, because in 2023 I would post like a lot of shirtless videos from my living room training. I was very, very lean at the time, and I would get tons of steroid accusations, because it's just like the leanness combined with having a good pump, combined with good lighting, just made me look much bigger and much more impressive than I was in real life. And obviously when Levi is posting like pictures on social media and videos, he's like obviously like a lot of us, like he's selling coaching programs, so he is going to make sure he looks good, right? So in that aspect, I think we can give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, some other stuff is we see his shoulders are quite capped, and that's one thing we see in steroid users often is like those really capped round shoulders. And Levi definitely has good shoulders, but I don't think we can really say it's a clear-cut case. And same thing with the neck. He has a big neck, but he also has like a wrestling background, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So I think, yes, very good physique, just from looking at it like visually. Could definitely like be an indication of steroids, but could also very well be achieved naturally. So in that case, I think we can, in my opinion, clearly give the benefit of the doubt and say we can't definitely say that physique is a result of steroids. So in my opinion, with his genetic and training history, definitely achievable naturally. And the other thing we can look at is like here, this picture is from his college days, and here we can now start asking questions, because that's the other thing. Like, if somebody is like has been looking the same for a very long time and suddenly they start adding obscene amounts of muscle, like that's definitely something suspicious. But with Levi, we know he has a lifetime of training, and here we see a picture from him as a college wrestler, and actually we already see, like, even though his physique looks very different because he doesn't have as much like muscle maturity, and also he doesn't have that like low body fat percentage, but like the proportions are very similar. So we can see that his like arms, like the big biceps and the big shoulders, that's definitely like a genetic strong suit, and also like the wrestling background combined with like a lifetime of training explains like the big traps and the big neck. So I think those old pictures definitely speak in favor of him being natural. And here's another picture. Like, obviously it's not a favorable picture in terms of like showing off his physique, but here you can see him with his family, like wearing a shirt. Granted, the shirt is a bit baggy, but like, that's just to illustrate what I said earlier. Like, when a shirtless picture on social media doesn't tell the whole story, and if you saw him like this in public, you definitely, like, your first thought wouldn't be steroids. Like, my first thought would be, okay, just like tall, jacked, athletic guy, but like not like huge, not like those like videos, you know, when a professional bodybuilder shows up somewhere and everybody's jaws dropping to the floor. And that's like just in terms of the visual impression. So I will say, like, there are some like signs that like make you a little bit suspicious, like the vascularity, the big bicep vein, the like big shoulders, but I think that can be like explained with lighting and leanness and having a good pump, and secondly with just his training history. So next we can look at, because he has actually posted it, his actual stats, and here we see his height, his weight, his age, and somewhere I saw his fat-free mass index. Okay, so if we look at his height, 185 centimeters, and his weight 91.5 kilograms, that's actually not like anything like out of the ordinary. Like, that's a perfectly reasonable weight for that height. And the next interesting thing is the fat-free mass index, and that's basically the muscle mass, like the lean muscle mass in proportion to his frame, to his height, right? And here we can see 23.3. That's definitely well within the range that's naturally achievable, and that with his history of training definitely speaks for him being natural 100%. And actually fun fact, I actually got measured and calculated my fat-free mass index in 2024, 2 years ago, and it was actually a bit higher than Levi's. So like in proportion to frame, I was even a bit bigger than Levi. So unless you think that my physique is not achievable naturally, you have to really say, okay, that really speaks for Levi being natural. So I think in terms of visual appearance and also in terms of the pure stats, we have to lean towards being natural. Now let's look at like his performance, and here we have a video of him doing 64 reps of double 32 kilogram long cycle. That was a Master of Sport performance in the IKO, and that's obviously a very, very good performance. That's like very strong, and like unless you've never done double 32 kilogram long cycle, you probably can't appreciate how difficult that is. But it's not so over the top again that I would definitely say it's unachievable without steroids. Like you definitely have at the very, very highest level 63 kilogram guys who could do that. So for a 90 kilo guy, it's definitely very strong and very respectable, but it's not something that screams like PEDs right away. So that's like another topic where I have to say I definitely believe he's natural. And one thing I have people have told me, even in private conversation, is I don't believe he's natural because he's like training so much and so hard. So I'm not like super familiar with his training, but I understand that he's training like for a relatively short time every day, because he has like a gym and family and stuff going on in his life. So he has like a very short block of training every day, and he does that 6 times a week. And the weights he's using are definitely like, he's definitely very strong, and he's training at a high intensity. But like if you really hit it hard for 30 minutes a day, like I don't see why you wouldn't be able to like recover from that. Because yes, if somebody is training like some professionals for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, then we have to start asking the question, okay, how are they recovering from that? But I believe he's very consistent with his lifestyle and his recovery. And that's really like a lot of the people I see critiquing him, I actually doubt that they're as disciplined when it comes to recovery. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you like having a couple beers in the evenings, right? Are you actually making sure you're getting quality sleep? Are you actually like adhering to a nutrition plan? And those are just little things that I believe Levi has been consistent with for a long time. Like real functional, consistent training and just doing the basics in terms of recovery and nutrition. And that's going to add up over the decades, obviously combined with very good genetics. So that's my thoughts. Like I said, there are you can I'm not like I'll be transparent. I like Levi, but I'm not like maybe exchanged messages with him 1 or 2 times on Instagram or in some comment section or something. But like I don't know him personally, so I don't really have a pony in this race. But I do like him as a content creator. But I'm not going to vouch for him because, like I said, you never know, right? Because some people are completely unimpressive and they're using PEDs, and then some people are like you can't tell either way. Somebody is a high performer, they may be using, they may be not using. But in terms of, do I have a reason to doubt his claims that he's natural? No. I personally believe that Levi is not using steroids, and that's my educated guess on the topic. And I think why I'm making this video is because I see so much propaganda for TRT and for steroid use, and I'm personally really against it. And actually, when I started training, I was surrounded by steroid users. Like, it was really rampant, and I would have had no problem getting that stuff. No problem getting my hands on it. But at the time I was maybe smart, and I said, okay, no, I'm just gonna like try to get to my natural potential. And then I got like, now at this point, like in my 30s, I just don't see the risks outweighing the benefits. Because what, like, even if we're like on TRT, and people use TRT very liberally, because in my opinion TRT is for someone who is really like, just because you're like on the lower end of the natural spectrum, bro, that's why it's called a spectrum. If everybody was on the high end, it wouldn't be called a spectrum, right? So I think just like injecting yourself with hormones, even if it only brings you to the top of the natural range, you're still doping. It would be saying like, oh, like a normal VO2 max for my age is 40 to 50, right? And I'm on the low end, I'm at 40, so I'm going to take EPO to get to 50. But I'm still natural because I'm still within the natural range. It's like fucking retarded. Or like, imagine a woman saying, oh, I'm going to get like breast implants, but because I have an A size, I want to get to like C, because that's the top of the natural range. So they are still natural. No, they're not. It's still implants. You know what I'm saying? So stupid. You're still cheating if you actually compete anywhere, and if you sell any coaching services and you're not transparent about it, you're still being dishonest. And the other thing is, like, that out of the way, like, even if you're completely honest and transparent about it, I just don't think that the benefits actually outweigh the risks. Because for one, any like dosage of exogenous hormones is going to age you. It's like a pro-aging compound, and I see that in people who actually use. The performance gains you're going to get aren't that big, because to actually like really move the needle, you have to like put your health at risk, right? So if you look at like professional strongmen, like Mitch Hooper posted a video the other day of showing his blood work and how bad it was. Yeah, to like deadlift, like, obviously I never could do it because I don't have the genetics, but like, you're not going to deadlift like 500 kilograms without like steroids, right? But the doses you have to use to like really move the needle that much in terms of performance are so high that they're going to put your health at risk. And if you use like lower doses, like, is it worth like pinning a needle in my ass every day or like every week to put 10 kilos on my deadlift, or to put 20 kilos on my deadlift? Like, not for me, because like the only thing I'm addicted to and can't function without is caffeine. Okay, so like if a zombie outbreak would happen tomorrow, I would like try to loot as much coffee and caffeine tablets as possible. But other than that, I don't need anything. I need like, give me any food, like some water, and I'm good to go. I can perform. I don't need to inject a needle in my ass. I use some supplements, use some stuff here and there. But like, if I don't have my creatine or whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to miss it. And I feel and I'm still performing the way I want to do. And then people say, oh, it's for my mental health, because that's very often just a band-aid. Because you, like I said, you're still drinking beer in the evenings, you're still sleeping like shit, you're still like sleeping 4 hours a night. Yeah, of course your testosterone is low and you feel like shit. Okay, but it's just a band-aid. And that's kind of my stance on it. Like I said, I actually don't like envy people, because like I said, I don't think if they put 10 kilograms on their deadlift and outlift me by a bit, like, who cares? Like, I don't care. But I feel I'm much better off with the benefits of actually being natural and not interfering with my hormones. We haven't even talked about stuff like fertility and whatever. Like, having to like inject yourself with needles you bought somewhere, like with some shit you ordered from Mexico. Like, no thanks, like I don't, not for me. Okay, like that turned into a bit of a rant. So to kind of like finish up, yes, I believe Levi is natty for the reasons I explained in this video, and I'm going to keep talking about the way I train naturally and increasing performance in a way that's sustainable, no injuries. I'm never injured, and we're just going to keep moving forward, like in terms of physical culture. That's the way I think about training. Okay guys, see you next time.